Hi, and welcome to the I Am Perfectly Frank podcast. I am Frankie George-McCullough, and the topics we have in these podcasts are intuition, self fulfillment, and trusting yourself. You'll see that I will be perfectly frank, and please subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the I Am Perfectly Frank podcast. I am Frankie George-McCullough, and today I have someone that has mentored me, coached me, and continues to help me along the way. Today I have with me Daron Powers, and Daron just completed writing, I believe, his sixth book called Future Vision, which I started listening to just this week. But Daron has been amazing. Daron, could you please tell us a little bit more about you?
What do you want to know?
I want to know, how you got started in this field. What drew you, and what exactly are you doing? Because I really didn't tell anyone what you're doing, how you're coaching me, how you help me in the industry that I'm in and that we're doing even right now.
Well, you know how he got started was my father. He used to say to me every day, "What did you learn? You need to learn something new every day. What did you learn?" I apparently never forgot that lesson. When I got in the Air Force, before I was in the Air Force, I felt like I had a poor self image. I was not smart. I was going to miss the boat in life. I had flunked out of Lawrence Tech. I had never been bad in school, but I was in an engineering program that just didn't resonate with me. And I felt like, so when I got in the Air Force, I started reading. I started learning. I started exposing myself to new things, to new ideas. And that kind of got the whole ball rolling. After I got out of the Air Force, I completed a degree in marketing, and I did really well. And I discovered, well, I was in the wrong program to begin with. And so it's important to be in the right program. The second thing that happened was I then got into the Dale Carnegie. Well, actually, I taught martial arts. I got a black belt in martial arts and became a teacher and discovered I like training. I like helping people to grow. And then I became a Dale Carnegie instructor. I taught their leadership, their sales, their management, their human relations communications. I had a team of people, and it was 10 years, and I absolutely loved seeing people grow. And I left the Carnegie course because I wrote a program called Future Vision, and it was an 8-hour seminar, and Ford Motor found out about it, and they picked it up and made it available to everyone. Well, that was in the early '90s, and then times get bad, and the first thing that goes in car companies is education. So I moved on and I became a consultant and began working with other Fortune 500 companies, developing courses and programs and going into dealerships across the nation and internationally and speaking and training and helping people to improve their performance. Actually, one of the early books I wrote was Sales in a Challenging Real Estate Market, after I helped the Pulte Homes move from one of Michigan's worst builders to dominating J.D. Power in 30 markets by the time I left that consulting position. And it was at the beginning of COVID that we were in lockdown. And I was starting to do Tai Chi. I'd been wanting to get back into the martial arts, and I said, okay, this is it. I'm locked in, so I might as well start learning. So, so I go to YouTube, and I'm going through these motions, and it's all of a sudden something hit me, and I realized, wait a minute, I'm in lockdown. I'm loving this, but people are not going to love this. They're not going to like being sequestered and maybe having to face people in their homes. It's going to be stressful. They may be away from their work environment. Things are going to change. They're going to need some help. Now, I've been coaching all along the last 40 years. I'd always done coaching, life coaching. It wasn't a big thing like it is today. And I had condensed everything from Future Vision into short consultations. And I thought, it would be really good to write this down so I could put it into people's hands I'm not face to face with. And that's when I started writing the book, which was about 2 years ago, and just completed it and published it in the last couple of weeks.
So the book is actually came about because of a course you had been teaching for years.
Right.
And it's fascinating because the course is consistent with what we like to do at Perfectly Frank, which is help people understand the role they play in their lives. We use two different languages, but you speak about how people, how their goals and their beliefs and how they kind of get in the way or are consistent. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, yeah, there's really three things that I try to touch upon in the book. And number one is focus. Oftentimes, like I was talking with your cousin, right? He says one of his big challenges is focus. Well, he's not alone. A lot of people have a problem with focus, and that's something that I myself, I had problems with focus in the past. That's where the martial arts came in: meditation, prayer, all the things that I've done to improve my focus. But that's key to change. And as part of that focus is setting setting goals that are right for you. The first goals I set in education were to go to engineering school because that's what my father wanted. That was his goal. But later on, I discovered that business and marketing and change and self-improvement, those were important to me. And so when I set goals in those areas, my belief system helped me to move forward. Because if and that's the second part, which is I call mindset. If your mindset isn't quite right and your beliefs are running counter to your goals, you're likely to sabotage your goals and not know why you're not making progress or why you're not moving forward. Well, then once you start moving forward, because you've got the beliefs, the negative beliefs or the beliefs that run counter, neutralized so that you have a clear road in front of you, you don't have roadblocks, then the next step is that's the third part of the book, which is a domain. And that is, what's the environment that you're in? How is that environment supporting you? How is it helping you to become stronger, more vital, more radiant, more of the person that you truly are and want to be?
So, on that particular topic, when you speak of an environment, are you speaking of what's happening inside you or the space around you?
Yes. The first two parts, the goals and the mindset, that's internal, right? Um, the external, well, there was a study that was done by uh, Benson. His name is Benson. He wrote a book called Your Maximum Mind. Herbert Benson. And he is the chief of staff of a Boston hospital and done a lot of research in neuroplasticity. And he wrote 10 best-selling books. His first book was Relaxation Response. And I remember it having such a huge impact on me because it talked about breathing and whatnot and how to relax your mind so that you can focus and do what you want to do better. Then he came out with Your Maximum Mind. And he said that you could grow your brain as easily at age 90 as you could age 9 if three things were present. And the first thing was a worthwhile goal. Wow, that's coincidental. He said you got to land on a goal that matters to you, that makes a difference for you. The second thing he said is you have to have the right attitude or mindset in that your beliefs should support the goals that you're choosing. So that's the second part. The third part he talked about was environment. Now, this was really interesting because I'd never heard about this study. There was a Dr. Langer from University of Michigan. They took two groups of people. They took one group and they wanted to find out if what impact environment had on people. So they took the first group, let's call it Group A, and they put them into a room for 30 days with every convenience that they would have, modern convenience from TVs to radios, whatever they, computers. They dressed the way they would normally dress. They fed them with the food that's being fed at that time, or and that was current. And they took a Group B, and they said we're going to move you back. I think it was 20 to 25 or 30 years, and they placed them inside this room. They changed the decor. They changed their clothing. They piped in the kinds of TV programs or radio programs. They help all change their clothing. They pretended they were 20 or 30 years younger. I don't remember precisely what it was. Now, before they did the experiment, they measured the person's height, their attitudes, their deltoid grip, all sorts of measurements that would indicate biological factors. And at the end of this 30 days, this was really interesting. They looked at their biological age. And they found that the first group that had no changes, that lived their life just the way they did at the time, there was no real change. The second group that went back, sort of backward in time to a good time, with good memories, positive memories, they were stronger, they were straighter, they were actually biologically younger. And what I got from that was the importance that environment, the people that are around you, the things that are supporting you, and the way that I translate that today is, like in the book, we talk about affirmations. Just taking a simple 3x5 card and tailoring that affirmation so it works for you with your belief system and your goals. By having that in your environment, that affects you. The kind of clothes that you wear, the colors on the wall, the people. We've all heard about the studies that say you're most influenced by the 5 people that are closest to you and around you. So that, and if let's say the people around you, you start forgetting, let's say you forget your keys and they go, oh, well, you're over the hill. You're getting old, They're joking about it, but it's impacting you. It's having an impact on brain growth and development. So our environment, both externally and internally, can impact who we are and how we move forward in our lives. And that's why I wrote the book, Future Vision, because I knew it's not just about goals. It's not just about your mindset. It's also about your environment, both internally and externally. And we don't think about those things because, we're busy living our lives and doing the things that we do.
So I have a question for you. Let me first start with a statement, if I may. I believe that we buy into belief systems. That we have said, oh, I believe that. Someone taught it to me and I've bought it. That one's going to be my belief system. I'm Christian. I believe that if you're short, you can't reach a high cabinet. I believe that if you're tall, you're going to slouch, right? I believe that, the information in my mind is God talking to me, even if it's not what I would say productive information, mind chatter, I call it. What is your view on that? Do people buy into belief systems? I mean, my belief system has changed, so I'm curious to know how you feel about that.
Well, I think belief systems are, they say, the psychologists tell us that by the time we're age 7, our values are set in place.
But are
And
our values our belief systems?
I think our values are reflected in our belief systems.
Okay.
So, for example, if you believe, I was raised Roman Catholic, and my parents were not practicing Roman Catholics. I went to church from time to time with my mother. My mother used to pick me up from catechism on Monday nights at St. John's, and I remember, I guess I believed as I grew up that if you were bad, you're going to go to hell. If you if you did sins, you're going to hell. Well, I don't know how old I was, maybe 8 or 9 or something. And my mother picked me up from catechism. It was a snowy Monday night, and my brothers and sisters were in the back of the car. And the nuns had just given us a message. The nun said, and this was around Christmas time, the nun said something to the effect. This is how I remember it, okay? They said, listen, the Pope is going to get a letter. And in this letter, if he discovers that we have been bad, this is how I interpreted it as a young kid, that the earth is going to end. We're all going to die. And that's how I heard it. And my mother kind of turned and she didn't want to show me that she was laughing, but there was a crack in the egg of that belief system. That belief system, from that point forward, I'm embarrassed to say that I would go to church. I told my mom I'm going to church, but I took the envelope money, which is 50 cents, and I went and bought RC Cola and popcorn and buried the evidence because I didn't believe the system anymore. So my belief system started changing. By the time I graduated from college, I didn't really know what to believe spiritually. So I started on my own journey, spiritual journey. I was playing music at the time. I was playing music full time as a solo guitarist and an entertainer. And so I said I had finally come to the end of the 2 years, and I said I'm going to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. I felt like I was doing it for the wrong reasons. And what I discovered was my father said, "You can't make money playing music." So I had to prove him wrong. That was a belief system. And I did. I had changed my belief system, but uh, I decided to quit. Somebody came into they came into the club and they put a book in my hands because they knew this was going to be my last day. It was Ram Dass, Be Here
Mm,
Now.
yes, I love that book.
Oh my God.
I
It's
love that book.
challenged every belief I had about
Hmm.
everything. And I was willing to do that. Now I realize a lot of people are not willing to challenge their belief systems, but I
Or a
was
lot of
willing.
people are, or really a lot of people are. We see on the media, as you
See,
had
that's a
spoken
belief.
about. Right, exactly. And they're all beliefs, and they're all things you can buy into or not buy into. And based on knowing you and my belief system and your belief system, and I'm okay if my beliefs change. Today it might be this, tomorrow it might be that. I know my values stand firm, right? Like, I don't want to kill anybody. I choose to be kind. But do I believe in source energy as a being? No, I don't. I believe in God, the universe, source energy, but not as a being, right? Or maybe I believe in it as it lives inside of me as me and lives inside of everything as itself. Now, does that make me right or wrong? No, just means that's what I bought into. And when you speak of goals versus beliefs, and you help you coach people and you direct or give insight to people on this understanding, I think through life, they've, whether they're 18 or 82, there has been a change in that belief system. And I come from trust your gut. Trust your gut. What does it feel like in that belief? Does that light you up, or does that feeling in that belief make you feel bad or wrong, or, as you said, a sinner, or the world's going to end? And that's why I asked you this question about, do we buy into that belief system? And in your experience of just yourself, how much has your belief system changed?
Well, I think I'm continuously challenging my belief system. For example, I thought maybe I might be too old to start a career.
I felt
so,
that same way.
I decided after I wrote the book, I said, let me take myself through this book. And I did. I walked through all the processes with that one idea in mind.
Hmm.
And it got me so far, and I said, okay, I know I'm on the right track, but I know I still need to neutralize. I need to go deeper in neutralizing that belief. So I hired a coach. I think coaching is a good thing. I've
Me
hired
too.
coaches over the years for many things, and it's every time I've done it, it's been the best thing I could do. There were times I remember when I hired my first coach. I was in Dale Carnegie. I was could barely rub two nickels together. I had a wife, two kids, and I'm hiring a coach in the mid 80s and paying him almost $100 an hour. What? I couldn't even pay my utility bills, and I'm hiring a coach. But you know what? It paid off because a year
Yes.
later, I had risen, sorry, to the number one guy in our region in terms of productivity and sales and instructional excellence. It does pay off. But we're talking about beliefs, right? And I lost my place. Help me out.
That's all right. So first of all, let me support you on the coaching thing. I've had coaches for years, sometimes several coaches at a time, to help me through whatever that space is. And like you, I'm having a new business in my life and enjoying it, and it morphs itself and it changes. But what we were talking about was, and the reason this is happening to me is because of my beliefs. You see, I believe that everyone has the ability to create their life with their own thoughts causing, and I believe you, address this with different language in your book, with their belief system is some of the things holding them back. And how do we help them change the thought pattern, we can call it, a belief system, we can call it, a behavior, we can call it. How do we help them change that, not just in their thought, not just with the affirmation, but in a physical action?
Absolutely. That's a good question. I can bring an example to mind. I had a woman come to me I was consulting with, and she was a very successful businesswoman. She created a course in prospecting that many large corporations employed her, and she did really well, made a lot of money. And she was going through a transition. So she was thinking, maybe I'm not relevant anymore. And so she came to me because she wanted to be relevant, you know? And maybe we both felt that way at times, or maybe we all feel that way.
Absolutely.
I don't know that, but I do know she didn't feel relevant. So we started the process. We set some goals. We were writing them out. We're thinking about it. She said, okay, now she had some roadblocks that were standing in the way of these goals. So we went into step 3 of the book, which was tapping. It's called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. And this is a technique that I picked up some years back when I was fighting the world's largest bank. They were wrongfully trying to take my home. I caught them in the act. I hired an FBI auditor, somebody who does it for the FBI. We found out that this great big bank in America actually steals homes. And we caught him red-handed. And but I went through a lot of pain and a lot of emotional pain, a lot of physical pain. And that's when I found out about tapping. And EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, helps to relieve those, not only the stresses, but it can help to neutralize negative thinking or thoughts that you no longer want. So I'm working with this woman. I said, okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do some tapping. She didn't know what it was. And when we're first starting to do it, she said, this is woo-woo. This is crazy. I said, just trust me. Let's do this with this particular belief. So we're working through these beliefs. We go through the tapping pieces. And all of a sudden, her father pops into her head. And she realized at that point, that when she was in college, her father didn't like it because he didn't want to spend money on tuition and education when all she's going to do is go find a husband. Mm. So he said, so when she started to get successful in business after college, he kind of, I guess he kind of put her down. He said, well, you're going to be like all the rest of those rich bitches, huh? So she started getting in her mind, wait a minute, if I have money, I'm going to be a rich bitch. And my father will not love me anymore. Right?
Right.
So we tapped through this. And later on, I'm interviewing her. This is after 2 or 3 consultations. She could not remember that was an issue for her. And now she's off writing. She discovered her true self is her love of writing. She loves to write, and she started taking some courses and getting some coaching, and she's moving in that direction, and she completely forgot that part of her belief system was no longer a roadblock. So the tapping really can help to neutralize that once you understand what all the roadblocks are, and you have somebody who can help you to neutralize that.
Now here's an amazing sponsor. Veterans Van Lines Moving Service, helping veterans get into the moving business. 248-889-8888. VeteransVanlines.com. They'll show you how to get it done. Did you know that Alline Salon Group is hiring stylists in Michigan? Candidates can receive up to $800 a year as part of their Student Loan Repayment Program. For more information, go to AllineSalonGroup.com. That's ALLINE salongroup.com. You know, you did some tapping with me, but prior to doing tapping with me, I'm familiar with EFT. I have a friend and colleague, Lamia, who my daughter at 14, 15 years old had been suffering a great deal of anxiety. And Lamia was kind enough to come here one time and do some EFT with my daughter and neutralize so much for her that just from one visit, my daughter had an effective change. Now, did she still have anxiety? Yes, but at a whole different level. no longer withholding her and grabbing her. She still felt that, something's holding me back, but it was so much less intense. And then I can't remember what I was dealing with when you were coaching me, but you took me through some EFT. I actually think I might have been at your door and maybe been tearful. And you just took me through this EFT, and it just, I'm telling you, it just rocked my world. And I believe that you and I like our lives. We like living. We're okay with the fact that things don't always turn out perfect, and we
Right.
tend to see those things as, okay, there's an opportunity in here, let me see what it is. Or we tend to pay attention and go, okay, maybe I'm supposed to chill out for a little bit, so maybe I should sit still, right? And I believe your book is an opportunity for people to get to that place where they get at least to go, it's okay, I'll just chill. There's no big hurry. I can make this happen. Or they'll get to a point. One of the things I say in just about every podcast is we need each other. We need each other. And I have an amazing producer, Rachel. And Rachel had done a post that said we tend to run from people when we need them instead of run to them. And I believe your book is speaking about that. My mother, from my own book, The Man He's Stupid and the Girl She's So Bitch, from that book, my mother would say, Francis, the best people to talk to is the stranger, because we're more comfortable talking to strangers than we are to somebody we know. And in many ways, a coach is a stranger, or someone you meet at a seminar or on Zoom is a stranger, and they may become your friend, but they're a safe place for you. They're a place where you can be okay being you. And for me, at this point in my life, I love that I'm okay being me. And let's be clear, I'm dynamic, I'm bold, I'm in your face, I'm loud, I'm pushy, and I'm okay with that. And, people have made comments to me, and I'd back up and get in my own way and buy into that. And then I'd have my friends pull me out of it also and go, hey, this is who you are. You are perfectly frank. Are there going to be people that aren't going to like you? Yeah. Does that mean that they don't love you? No. It just means there's something in your behavior they don't like, and that's okay. They're not going to run from you. And if they do, really think about that for a minute. So I think your book Future Vision is, I haven't read any of your other books, which I'm surprised. I didn't know about them. Here you are coaching me, and this is after reading your profile did I understand how much you've done. And it's pretty amazing. Really, you're pretty impactful. On top of the fact that you have a great life, you love music. You have a band. People can come and watch you play in your band, right? You're still coaching. You're still doing stuff on Zoom. I mean, it's pretty cool to feel that way about life.
I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I really feel very, very fortunate. But I got to tell you, I didn't always feel that way recently. After I fought that big bank, and we won, had to, we sold the home, and my ex went that way, and I came this way, and I was uh, I was not in good shape mentally or emotionally. I had been beaten up. And I kind of thought maybe, the rest of my life was going to be mediocre at best. I really did. I was shocked that I felt that way because I have always, I've always fought. I've always tried to be the best I could be, and I would find a place I find a way to go after a dream and apply everything that I have to it and make it happen. And I would. And I've done a lot of great things and made a lot of money and helped a lot of people. But I didn't feel that way, and I started. That's where the EFT also came back in too, the tapping, because I realized I had some emotional issues that if I don't take care of those, if I don't get those resolved, I'm going to have a mediocre life. And I remember I met a lady over the summer, and I realized she moved to Florida, to where she works for 6 months of the year, and I thought it'd be great to go visit her and get on a plane. And I don't have those choices because suddenly my other business, because of COVID, suddenly falls off. Now I don't have those financial choices. So I thought, wait a minute, I can't let this happen again. So I hire the coach, go through my program. I get myself plugged back in, neutralize through tapping, through other therapies, neutralize those negative beliefs. And when I was plotting, I realized I was plotting. Now I'm passionate. Now my true self. I have. That's crazy. I've demonstrated that I could be my true self again. And I am plugged in. I am turned on. I want to help people. I realized my wheelhouse was in helping people, that my belief system was such that I would be happiest if I'm helping people, happiest if I'm reducing their pain, happiest if I'm helping them to clear a path so that they could achieve what they wanted to achieve. That's what makes me happy.
I'm with you. I love that. I love that. Daron, let me ask you a question. What is the best way to reach you? What is your website info?
Well, they can reach me at www.futurevisionpower.com. That's futurevisionpower.com. Or you can just simply Google the name Daron, D-A-R-O-N, Powers, and a whole bunch of stuff will come up on Google, and you'll eventually find Future Vision. Or you can go to Amazon.com and type in Future Vision 6 Steps. And the book and the audio and the ebook will come up. And shortly, an action planning guide. I'm now working on that. I can't wait for the action planning guide.
Oh, that's great.
That's what I had in that 8-hour seminar. And I brought it to be very concise here and upgraded the technology. But the action planning guide is so important because it helps people to actually put it into use, put it into action. You get it here in your gut as well as your head. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. My hope is that once that's done, we can do another podcast and maybe go through that a little bit because I'm with you. I believe you and I have the similar belief systems. We just go about it differently, which is kind of beautiful so that people can realize we don't have to be the same. We can be on the same road and be tall, short, small, big, have a heavy belief system, have an open belief system, whatever it is, and still get to this place of happiness. Still get to this place where we serve not only others and ourselves, but the whole world. So I look forward to you joining us again. Let me just remind everyone, today I'm with Daron Powers. Daron has written the book Future Vision. You can get it on Amazon in audio and ebook as well as paperback. Daron is my coach. He's taught me a lot. I look forward to more coaching time with him. Thank you so much for joining us today, Daron.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Talk to you later.
All the best.
Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us today on this podcast. By the way, at the I Am Perfectly Frank website, you can find information about all the stuff I've been doing for the last 40 years. We treat pain patterns. We are coaches. We do intuitive work. We also do massage. We also help you understand what your pain is telling you so that you don't have it anymore. Anyways, again, check out the IamPerfectlyFrank.com website, and thank you for joining us today.